Cole Haferman. A corporate executive stands in front of the company plant in Indianapolis. He tells them that the plant is closing and moving to Monterrey, Mexico. There are shouts of anger and obscenities. 1,400 well-paid full-time workers are learning that it's all over. In the article, Are Free Trade Deals Bad for America?, published June 24, 2016 by Bill Powell, a journalist for Newsweek, it is stated that at one point, the executive said, "I want to be clear, this is strictly a business decision." No one wants to lose a job they depend on, especially due to an agreement passed by their very own government. The U.S. government should repeal NAFTA. First, I will talk about what NAFTA is and the problems with it, and then I will talk about the solutions and its benefits. First, let's talk about the purpose and origins of NAFTA. NAFTA stands for North American Free Trade Agreement. In the article, NAFTA and the Legalization of World Politics, a Case Study, published summer 2000 by Frederick Abbott, a professor at Florida State University, it is stated that NAFTA was meant to promote economic growth by easing the movement of goods and services between the United States, Canada, and Mexico. Under NAFTA, most tariffs and restrictions on trade were removed and replaced with agreements on specific types of goods, examples of which include automotive, agriculture, telecommunications, textiles, and intellectual property. In the article, Paving the Way to the Pacific, From NAFTA to the TPP, published fall 2016 by Alejandro Alvarez, a socioeconomist at the University of Mexico, it is stated that NAFTA went into effect January 1st, 1994. It was signed into law December 8th, 1993 by President Bill Clinton. However, its terms were originally negotiated under President Bush. NAFTA has been updated twice since it went into effect, once in 2004 with the Central American Free Trade Agreement, and again in 2015 with the Trans-Pacific Partnership. Now that we understand the origins of NAFTA, we can look at the problems associated with it. NAFTA has affected our lives in many ways. It has caused a shift of production from the United States to Mexico. In the article, The Impact of NAFTA on the United States, published winter 2001 by Mary Burfisher, a journalist for the American Economic Association, it is stated that even when NAFTA was being negotiated, there was already a significant wage gap between the United States and Mexico. The average hourly pay in the U.S. was $15.45, while the average hourly pay in Mexico was $2.17. That's an astonishing difference of over $13. Companies can easily use this as an effective cost-saving measure. The lower hourly pay makes it cost-effective for companies to move their factories from the U.S. to Mexico. With tariffs still in place, this scenario would be impossible. In the article, NAFTA, A Mexican Perspective, published winter 1992 by Nora Lustig, a professor at Johns Hopkins University, it is stated that before NAFTA went into place, companies looking to export from Mexico to the U.S. had to face a 20% tariff. Jobs aren't disappearing for no reason. Companies are hiring those who will do the same job for less. There was a net loss of 1 million jobs by the year 2004, and this number has undoubtedly increased in the last 12 years. Mexican farmers have also been affected. The United States is not the only country that was affected by NAFTA's terms. In the article, U.S. Corn Subsidies Said to Damage Mexico, published August 27, 2003 by Elizabeth Becker, a journalist for the New York Times, it is stated that some 2 million Mexican farmers have lost their farms since NAFTA was put into effect. This may be due in part to the fact that the price of Mexican corn has fallen 70% in that same time period. Almost 1/3 of Mexican corn is imported from the U.S. This severely impacts the livelihoods of the 15 million Mexican farmers. And due to the fact that U.S. farms are granted subsidies by the United States government, Mexican farmers cannot hope to compete at that level. Finally, the environment has been greatly affected. In the article, NAFTA's Environmental Impact on Tijuana 20 Years Later, published October 24, 2012 by Adrian Florido, a journalist for KALW Public Radio, it is stated that in the mid-1990s, a battery company was established in Tijuana, Mexico. When the company closed down, the owners left the site soaked in lead and other toxins, just upstream from a working-class neighborhood. NAFTA has no environmental regulations, tri-national police, or fines for pollution. It took environmental activists 10 years to get the Mexican government to clean up the site. Citizens can submit complaints, but only after the damage has been done. The Mexican government finally cleaned up the site by encasing the 42,000 tons of toxic waste underneath a basketball court. NAFTA is clearly helping corporations take advantage of countries with little to no environmental regulations. In conclusion, NAFTA has affected all North American economies. The United States government should repeal NAFTA. It has caused a shift of production from the United States to Mexico. It has affected the livelihood of Mexican farmers, and it has caused irreversible environmental damage. If NAFTA was repealed, those 1,400 workers would not have lost their livelihoods over a business decision.
5:50.